Now, NBC5 investigates, and with more than 70,000 people in ICE custody, there's been a surge in immigration attorneys challenging those arrests.
Despite a court order demanding their release, immigration attorneys say ICE is seizing immigrants' personal documents. So why is this happening? Here's investigative reporter Bennett Haeberle.
Y ellos comenzaron a agarrarnos, a ponernos las manos hacia atrás y nos metieron en sus carros.
Jamie Ardon Vasquez and her friend Carlos Belize were apprehended by ICE agents back in November near Elgin. They told me they spent a few days here at the ICE processing facility in Broadview before being transferred out of state.
Pues dormíamos, habían unas sillas y literal dormía en una silla y era horrible la comida y todo eso. In Texas, pues.
Jamie says she was taken to Texas and Camp East, Montana, the largest ICE detention facility in the country. The sprawling encampment has drawn headlines after 3 detainees died here over the past 2 months. Carlos says he too was taken to Texas before being transferred back to Indiana and the Clay County Detention Center.
For almost all of our cases, bond is being granted.
Their immigration attorney, Laura Smith, filed what's called a habeas petition, arguing that their arrests and detentions were unlawful. Now in their 20s, both entered the U.S. as unaccompanied minors. Carlos under the Biden administration, Jamie during President Trump's first term. She says neither had an order for removal. A federal judge ordered their release, but in doing so, Carlos says the ICE agents held on to his driver's license.
Sí, a mí no me dieron mi licencia. Me la quitaron y no me la dieron.
Jamie, her attorneys say, didn't have any documents on her, but was released from the El Paso facility without much notice and no plan to get home.
After winning those cases, going to the immigration court, getting bond granted for our clients and getting it posted, clients are now being released from ICE detention, but without the documents they had on them when they entered ICE detention.
So why is that happening?
Well, there's not a legitimate reason I can understand.
Laura Smith says this is a recurring problem and has 13 clients who face similar experiences. You think this is a larger issue?
They're not just punishing Children's Legal Center's clients. This is happening.
NBC5 Investigates spoke to other immigration attorneys who told us they've seen it too.
I had a client that was released from someplace in Missouri. No ID, no funds and you couldn't get on a plane. Maybe you can get on a bus, so his wife drove 16 hours to pick him up.
What's the response when they say we're keeping your ID or we're keeping your document? What is it?
I haven't heard a response yet that makes any sense.
You're just creating unnecessary hurdles for individuals in the interim.
While it's not clear how often this happens, NBC5 Investigates found it has been a point of contention between attorneys and immigration authorities. In 2022, Laura filed a lawsuit against the federal government over this very issue. In a case that's still pending, the government argued that if it did not hold onto the documents, the alien would have the opportunity to hide or destroy the documents to make removal difficult. This 2024 report by the Government Accountability Office found inconsistencies with how Border Patrol handles personal property for those in custody, noting that individuals are to be notified about how they can claim their personal property after release, but that field locations don't consistently communicate this. And just last month, a federal judge in Minnesota criticized a government attorney for not returning items and personally monitored a UPS tracking number to ensure that those documents were in fact returned.
Obviously, these people are being released from ICE detention, so they're not immediately being removed from the United States, if ever. But there's no valid reason I can think of to keep somebody's Illinois driver's license or the work authorization card that immigration issued them in the first place.
Carlos was able to get a replacement ID from the consulate's office. By the way, we did find this 2023 memo that spells out that ICE can retain personal documents, but that they also can provide copies unless they believe something's fraudulent. Laura says that's not the case with any of her clients. Bennett Haeberle, NBC5 Investigates.
Our thanks to Bennett.